Gather around, weary travelers and seekers of truth, for you have stumbled into the deepest, darkest vault of the realm. For you stand before the threshold of the content dungeon. Long have the masters of this domain toiled in the shadows, crafting the very foundations of the Empty the Bench network. And today, the heavy iron rises, and the secrets of the forge are laid bare. Behold your overseers and architects of chaos, the keepers of the keys themselves, Sir Callan McClurg and Sir Nick Morgasen. Steel yourselves as they pull back the heavy velvet curtains to reveal the grime, the glory, and the grinding gears of building an empire from the absolute depths. Enter at your own risk, for once you witness the making of the machine, there is no turning back.
All right, welcome to this dark and somewhat dungeon of this ETB castle. Yes, Johnny's probably wondering, what the heck did I just walk into? But yes, welcome to the Content Dungeon. This is our show where we kind of explore the network from a underground perspective, which a lot of people don't get to see. There's no social media, so just follow us on social media at ETB Network on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at ETB Network. Follow our YouTube channel, youtube.com/ETB Network. Like, comment, and subscribe. Johnny, welcome to the Content Dungeon.
I cannot, I don't have much of an accent after what Callan did there in the open, but thank you. I'm happy to be here. And, you know, it's good to be on for the first time on the ETB network in, a month or so. No, I haven't been on a vacation. No, I haven't been sick. I've just been working really, really hard, basically doing 6 days a week for the last month, and going to continue to be doing that for a while. But in a couple more weeks, you'll get me regularly on my show, which we're going to talk about here as well. So we're getting close, Nick. We're getting close.
Oh, that means football season's around the corner, isn't it?
Well, in some ways, it's already here with the first week of preseason games. But yeah, we're getting there. I mean, I was just looking at posts about college football. Week 0, just about less than 2 weeks away. So we are. I think this is. Well, let's put it this way: this upcoming Saturday will be the last college football free Saturday for a while. So
the last football free weekend, to be honest.
Much.
Hard to believe, right? Because we go from now all the way until, what, January? I think.
Valentine's Day, if you want to really go that far. But
I'm sure couples of the world love that the Super Bowl is on Valentine's Day.
I'm glad I don't have to worry about that. But full steam ahead. This year's been a blur, but I'm excited for this. Let's go.
Yeah, so we have a lot to get into. The town crier presented the topics for me today. Passing 3,000 watch hours. Yes, that's going to be something we're going to discuss today. And actually, I'm kind of glad you're on, because you were kind of like overseer a while ago on this. Like, so you got to see the network before it became a full live 24/7 operation.
Yes, I did.
So we'll talk about 3,000 watch hours.
For my show, really.
We'll talk about the old show. We can talk a little bit about the old days a little bit.
Oh, absolutely, because there's a great story to all this, a great timeline that we'll talk about here on the show today.
Yeah, so we have that. The Gridiron War Room, as I said, with Johnny Montalbano being here, we'll talk about the football forecast, which is our season show for the NFL. Diving back into it, some new rules that we are going to implement this upcoming year, which some people agreed and some people did not agree.
Yes, we collectively bargained these rules. That's what we did.
We're doing better than Major League Baseball, we promise.
And that'll be a fun thing when we talk about the watch hours too, because if this was next year, I think this would be a challenge. But let's see what happens.
we'll get into that. Also, we'll take a trip to the tavern, which I don't do much because I'm not the biggest drinker of all time. But we'll discuss some stories and stuff from the ETB vault of sorts, which I like to do on this show. And then some of the Chamber of Thoughts, which are more of just discussing independent media. Since we run an independent media operation, the differences between network and independency, especially I'm sure you saw like the news with Greg Papa unfortunately getting let go. I railed about that last week because unfortunately I worked for Cumulus for 5 years, unfortunately. But we'll dive into all of that. But we're going to start this show as I see carrier pigeons carrying in a news topic over here. And it says the NBA, this just broke a couple hours ago. The NBA has no evidence of Steve Ballmer funneling money to Kawhi Leonard via sponsors. Why did we have an investigation for 13 months if we find out that there's no money being funneled, right?
Yeah. Well, so Kawhi's there's been quite a few things with Kawhi here because obviously the big deal with him is the potential trade to the Raptors, which now there's 2 investigations with him. This is one of them. This is with Steve Ballmer, but Kawhi has his own thing too, which is separate.
Oh, you're talking about, well, so we had the aspiration scandal. Then we found out Daktronics, which is the scoreboard company that makes all of the scoreboards for almost any stadium you walk into around the world, essentially. And no, it's not related to Dak Prescott. I promise you, it's not. So that came out last week. And now we have all these weird things. I don't know if you saw the story about the Rhode Island sports franchise. Apparently him and his uncle were invested in secretly also.
A lot of weird things with this. I
don't know how to feel about this, but for them to spend 13 months on an investigation and to say they found nothing, I'm just not buying.
Well, it's interesting because they said no evidence versus, not enough, or like what we've seen in reviews, like not enough evidence to overturn something. But yeah, it's a good point. It's been over a year on this and then not to find anything about this. But yeah, it's just wild. So I'm just reading about this. So the NBA is focused on whether the team's introduction of Leonard to team sponsors constitutes a violation of the league's rules prohibiting salary cap circumvention.
Right.
And it's just wild because if you think of the NBA right now with Adam Silver as a whole, and it seems like there's been constant stuff that he's had to deal with. And this is just another one. But so this was like you said, a year-long thing. And because I'm still just going through this right now because this, like you said, this only broke late this morning.
Like an hour or two ago. Not even.
Yeah, I'm just reading the article from ESPN from Don Van Natta Jr., Baxter Holmes, and Ramona Shelburne, who've been on top of this since the beginning.
Yeah, they've been on it. They've been talking to... I just don't buy it. Like, I'm reading the article, too, and they're choosing... It says here, instead, the NBA is focusing on whether the team's introduction of Leonard to team sponsors constitutes a violation of the league's rules prohibiting salary cap circumvention. The league is examining whether the Clippers are guilty of failure to supervise employees.
Well, I'll give you this one thing, too, and I don't know how you would take this. It says, however, according to sources, the league has presented no evidence. The league has presented no evidence that Ballmer funneled money to Leonard. So,
yeah, but what about? I don't know if you've been following the Pablo Torre finds out stuff at all, but he has more evidence than the NBA does.
See, it's funny you bring that up because I was gonna say, Pablo Torre's been on. It seems Pablo Torre can find it, but the NBA can't.
I guess that's the NBA can't find out. But
just continuing to read this here. Both sides in recent days have been negotiating a resolution to the investigation. So that's, and that's the thing. One of the things that have been coming out about this with Adam Silver and stuff is trying to find a resolution to these kind of to these situations before the season started. You didn't want this to really like go into the season. Like the other thing with Kawhi seemed like it was going to go into the season, and they wanted to get that done beforehand because obviously there's a trade scenario. There's a trade that's up in the works about
the Raptors trade. Yeah, I mean, I don't think that trade's happening. I just don't see it happening. And if I'm the Raptors, I run very far away from this trade with Kawhi Leonard at this point.
Well, even go ahead.
I was just going to say, what stops them from punishing him down the line?
Well, and I was going to say, so we don't know when that part of the story, the aspiration thing, is going to get resolved. And if you're the Raptors who are trying to get ready for the season here, I know the regular season just over 2 months away, but how are you going to figure out your team? How can you get ready for the season if you don't know if or not Kawhi Leonard, if Kawhi is going to be on the team or if he's not going to be on the team?
So this is really not a resolution, in my opinion. This is just the NBA in a blanket statement saying that the NBA that they have no evidence. This is not the court of law. This is a court of public opinion for the NBA. Now, I did see from my favorite person of all time, Mike Bass, who put out a statement. Here it is. So NBA Communications put out a tweet an hour ago with a statement. This is from NBA spokesman Mike Bass. ESPN's article regarding the LA Clippers investigation for which the NBA declined to cooperate contains numerous and significant inaccuracies. The results in this matter will be made clear once the investigation is concluded. So if I'm reading that statement correctly, are they saying that ESPN jumped the gun?
Read that one more time.
ESPN's article regarding the LA Clippers investigation for which the NBA declined to cooperate contains numerous and significant inaccuracies. The results in this matter will be made clear once the investigation is concluded. So it sounds like ESPN jumped the gun.
On their side of things, it does sound like that.
So, or is that Mike Bass putting on damage control for the NBA?
Well, we've seen how some of these leagues like to take, almost like politicians, just they think the way to get out of all this and stuff is to go after the media.
Oh, politicking in sports, color me shocked.
Yeah, I mean it's happening with commissioners in certain sports. Now it's happening on this side too. So of course, when in doubt, always just go after the media.
Which, in the long run,
which I'll just say this: that's never a winning a smarter or winning strategy. It really is.
You can't win that way at all. There is no way.
Because you know what? Long after you resign or whatnot, or you leave this world, the media will still be around.
Exactly. I mean, I still think Kawhi is going to get something out of this. I don't know what. I think he's going to get penalized. Now, everyone would say, oh, well, just void his contract. Okay, but that makes him a free agent. So is that really a punishment?
That's not a punishment.
Now, what I've said to Callan on PR is I've said, if you're going to void his contract, then you got to suspend him for a year if they find that he was part of the cap circumvention situation. I don't know. This should not have taken 13 months. And actually, I would say this is still an ongoing investigation. This is the only thing they're saying is they say they have no evidence. This is not pointing out anything.
It doesn't sound like this is over.
I mean, his uncle is really the stingy one here. But I don't know. Steve Ballmer, who you really think that Adam Silver is going to allow Steve Ballmer to walk away from the league considering the billions of dollars he has? No way.
I always go back to when Adam Silver first became commissioner of the NBA, what he had to walk into. And
you're talking about the Clippers situation originally.
Yeah, and how we've got like where they are now. And it was amazing because that was his first real test with Donald Sterling, and he aced that. And it seems like ever since then, every situation that Adam Silver's had to get involved in,
a mess.
Agree.
I mean, 4 days. It took 4 days to get rid of Donald Sterling. This has taken 13 months.
Now, let me just clarify. I'm not trying to compare the two. I'm just saying that when Adam Silver first became commissioner and how harsh he was in the very beginning, how he did a lifetime ban, which was the right decision.
Right.
But
Yeah.
ever since then, it seems like with every situation the NBA has come down, he has taken a lot of heat, and a lot of the time, rightly so, for the decisions that were made and the punishments or whatnot.
Well, do you think cap circumvention went down or no?
Something seems fishy about it, but that's the thing. Like, if it seems fishy, do they have evidence that it actually did happen? Because there are things that we've seen that seem like the person would be guilty, but we can't go just based on feelings.
That's true, but I find it interesting. So the whole gambling situation, the whole situation with Chauncey Billups and everything that went down, and I just like that got swept under the rug. No one's reacting to that anymore. No one's reacting to this. Like, what's going on in the NBA front offices right now? I don't know.
Something about basketball in general this year, between what's happening with this and then all the drama that's been happening, that you guys have done a tremendous job of talking about in the WNBA. It's just been one of those years that is just crazy to figure out. Look, I mean, I'm on cloud nine when it comes to basketball for obvious reasons as a Knicks fan, but yeah, this just because I'm just like I'm continuing to read more of it. I mean, now here's another interesting example that they put in the article. So the NBA, now this is though we're going back 26 years now. The NBA penalized the Timberwolves in 2000 by taking 5 first-round draft picks and fining the team $3.5 million after the team signed an illegal secret agreement with forward Joe Smith that promised him a multi-year, multi-million-dollar extension. But then again, the team's 03 and 05 draft picks were eventually restored.
Yeah, I mean, well, because they appealed and they got part of it back. Because, and you see this in any sport when you see a suspension or a penalty come down, they always go harsh and they can appeal it down to what they eventually agreed to. But that whole situation with Minnesota, like they had a secret contract with Joe Smith. Like the agent was involved and eventually got snuffed out. And that's why you saw 5 first-round picks and penalizing I think the owner got like a $5 million fine. Or I think now I know that they've raised the fine now in the NBA, even though that means nothing to Steve Ballmer. But I think the highest fine now you can get is $7.5 million as an owner. Steve Ballmer probably makes $7.5 million in an hour. Probably.
Yeah, I was going to say that's chump change to him.
So like Callan and I were discussing the punishment, and we did a full like hour and a half stream on when the news broke eventually that the Daktronics situation came out. Something is fishy. I don't know what it is. But for the NBA to be naive and basically come out and say that there's no evidence. You have 2 companies where for aspiration, they said that it was basically a no-show sponsorship. And that came out. Like Pablo Torre found the evidence. Daktronics, they don't even have endorsements with athletes. So something doesn't look right here.
Well, like you said, I don't think this is the last of it. I don't think this ends this. I think there will be more developments. And I would imagine it has to be soon with the season just 2 months away.
The other issue you run into is how many times have we heard Adam Silver say, we're going to get an answer by this deadline, by this deadline, by this deadline, by this deadline.
Well, didn't he, though, say that he said about this, though, he wants it. He prefers and hopes that it's going to be before. He didn't really guarantee that this is going to be done before the season. He's hoping that it's going to be done before the season.
No, but there was like at least 2 or 3 times where he said we were supposed to have a full answer by the All-Star break. We did not get it.
No.
We were supposed to have a resolution by the end of the season. When the Clippers' last game was played, we were supposed to get an answer. Didn't get an answer. If this makes it into the season, Kawhi can't play until this investigation is over.
Right, and this trade that the Raptors had that they agreed to with the Clippers was on June 30th.
There's no way this trade can happen now because if they're saying this is going to bleed into 2027, they're going to have to disengage this trade.
Well, I mean, the deal's on hold, right? Is still on hold. So as of now,
he's going nowhere.
He's still with the Clippers. He's still technically a member of the Clippers right now. So right now, technically, since the trade's on hold, it's up to the Clippers to decide what they would do with that.
Well, you heard the ridiculous thing that they said if the Raptors took on the trade, they would have had to assume the punishments.
Yes.
Which again makes
that's
no
why
sense.
That's the reason. That's one of the many reasons why this trade is on hold.
And if I'm the Raptors, like I said, I wouldn't do it.
Yeah, because we're looking at a possible suspension or his contract being voided.
And I think voiding his contract without a suspension is almost playing into Kawhi's hands.
Yeah, I was going to say that. You're 100% right.
So I don't know. We'll see what happens with this story. But that was just kind of a mini reaction to because that news literally broke about an hour and a half, 2 hours before.
I looked at that and I'm like, oh shoot, are we going to get preempted for a breaking news press row? Or this would have been the only other time that this would have happened would have been on Friday night, because you all know the old trick, the Friday night news dump, which some of this stuff has happened.
A little behind the scenes, because we are actually, and this is a good transition. We'll talk about this. So before I answer that question, Empty the Bench Network reaches the 3,000 watch hour goal on YouTube. We're past that now. We've crushed that number. We are past it. And we are on track for the 4,000 watch hour goal.
Yeah, let's go.
We're going to be very close. We're not going to be there before the NFL season starts, but we are making significant progress. Now, in case people didn't see the news, YouTube, I don't know if you saw the news about YouTube, but...
Well, I ended up replaying the show from last night on my ride into work this morning. Obviously the ETB Lounge, and I saw you put out that post. So just as we hit the 3,000 watch hour goal, now they're talking about that you got it. What is it? That you have the 8,000 now?
So on February 1st of 2027, they are going to raise the total watch hours goal to get to full monetization from 4,000 to 8,000. But if you get to 4,000 before February 1st, you are grandfathered into the monetization. So that's why February 1st is circled on my calendar.
Oh yeah,
right now.
Well, let's talk about this for a second. I mean, first of all, congratulations to you as the founder of this network, first and foremost, because I know you've put in a lot of hard work, and I've known you for several years now. So it's been, I wouldn't say it's been the easiest ride, but it's been one hell of a ride. And I have to say, like, the last year or so has been tremendous. But I mean, if you look at what we've got upcoming with football season now right around the corner, in some ways already here, but our content really going to be kicked up to the next year. And then, I will bring this out too. You have a huge story possibly in the works in December with the MLB lockout. I mean,
oh yeah, hitting for the cycle goes into hiatus. Let me take that back. So they take like a month break, and then they come back in December for the hot stove.
Yeah.
And then they take a small break again, and then they come back for kind of like semi 2 to 3 weeks into spring training in February, as long as it's not a World Baseball Classic season like it was last year. But the way I'm seeing this now, I think we're going to have an extended hitting for the cycle content season the way this is going. Now, from everything people we've spoken to, we had David Sampson on Press Row a while ago, or I should say a while ago, a couple months ago. You have to remember, he was the president of baseball operations for the Marlins. Also, I think he was I forgot what his role was for the Expos, but he claims that he thinks it's just going to be a last minute, to the finish line of the lockout.
Yeah, I don't see that. Here's an interesting thing. So according to Bob Nightingale, this was something that I saw yesterday. The MLB and Players Union have not discussed quote-unquote core economic issues since their opening proposals, and serious talks will not commence until November.
And I buy that, because the two sides are bitter about the salary cap.
And this is a disaster. By the way, if there's one interview I recommend everybody going back and listening and watching to, it's that interview with Sampson.
Sampson was on it.
Yeah, it was a phenomenal one. So go check that out if you can. Yeah, I think this is gonna be a nightmare for baseball. I really do. Look, this has been bubbling up for years. The salary cap's just the icing on the cake. But remember, we had the 99-day lockout back in 5 years ago.
Well, the whole COVID thing.
And then what we had was COVID back in 2020, which was just an utter disgrace by Major League Baseball, how that was handled. So this has just been building up for years.
Yeah, and that's going to lead. Well, I'm sure they love it because it gives them something to do, so they don't feel like they're sitting around. Because I mean, some of our guys, so like Ben and David and Nate, are part of our NFL stuff. Ryan just does the baseball stuff, so for him, it's probably excuse me, getting to do some more baseball content and stuff. And who knows, the way that they're talking about the lockout, we might go all the way through the way this is going.
Look, I would be shocked if we're looking at a full 162 game season next year. I truly think there's going to be no baseball next year, but at the bare minimum, we're not going to have a full year next year.
Yeah, Nate, who does Give and Take, he's a big baseball guy. He's also on Hitting for the Cycle. He thinks it's going to be 60 to 75 games. Now,
so we're going to have another COVID shortened year, pretty much. Then?
That's what he thinks, that there's going to be games. I don't trust Rob Manfred to get a deal done with the players.
The two sides can't stand each other. I mean, they make politicians look like they agree on everything. That's how bad it is.
I mean, I can even go back in the timeline to the Bryce Harper situation that allegedly came out with him and Rob Manfred, where he threatened to like hit him in the face. If you remember that whole, I think that was in the Phillies clubhouse, I think. And I was like, okay, that's when I knew. I mean, I knew it was bad already, but I knew it was bad when Bryce was basically threatening to chop Rob Manfred's head off. And I don't know what we're going to do for next season for Hitting for the Cycle if there's a lockout.
Minor League Baseball and Savannah Bananas, Banana Ball. Let's go.
That was the joke I did make to some of the guys. I said, everyone pick a team in the Savannah Bananas League and let's follow
college
it.
Baseball. College baseball.
David does some college baseball stuff for what the stats company he works for.
I'd like to be wrong, but this has been building up for years. So I think we're going to have to just brace for it that this is inevitable that it's going to happen.
I think it's going to be a lot of lockout talk. That's for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I was never a big fan of Rob Manfred as the commissioner of baseball. Just all the issues with the streaming and finding the games, and
I think he's the worst commissioner of the four major sports. I can say that and not hesitate for a second.
And it's funny because, like, if you wanted to include most sports, a lot of people say it's Kathy Engelbert, who's one of the worst commissioners.
Kathy might be worse than Manfred, but of the four major sports, I would say
I agree with you.
But I got to tell you though, you're right. Kathy actually, and I was going to make this as a joke on one of your streams. I was like, she actually makes Manfred look really good.
I agree with you totally.
Because considering what you've got, you got a generation, you got a generational player in the WNBA, and it seems like it's almost a negative that it is.
I'm not going to put that comment up, but Christy said,
"Don't hold back, Christy. It's okay." I see your comment.
Actually, you know what? I'll put it up. It's fine. But I agree. MLB is going to be a mess when December 1st rolls around. Yeah. So ironically, I looked at the calendar. December 1st is a day before our actual Press Row episode.
Yeah, you were joking that it was going to be an all-nighter pretty much.
Well, Tom Albano, in case people who are listening, who hosts Fight IQ and Fight IQ Puncher's Chance, and you will see him on Football Night on the Bench as part of the new football content this season. He kept saying to me, "All right, Cal and Nick, it's, you promised 6-hour stream on," and I'm like, there's going to be enough content to do enough on it.
I can join you in around 4.
I'm in
to work, so
right. No, I'm in.
I don't know if you want to see me in the car in the pitch black at 4 a.m, but whatever I can do.
But no, we definitely have lockout streams planned. I actually have Sampson's email, so I know it works. So I'm gonna have to see if I can get him back. We also had Michael McCarthy from FOS.
Yeah, another great one too.
He claims that he thinks it's just going to be a last minute thing and they're going to sign a deal. I don't buy that.
No, see, but that's what happened back in 5 years ago, though. If you remember, they pushed everything back a week, and you want to talk about the growth of this network. I remember when I think it was like around Mardi Gras when you and Tom did an emergency stream about the whole lockout stuff. But
oh boy,
that they agreed to it last minute. But yeah, that just seemed like it was just kicking the can down the road. And that's what it feels like with some of this stuff, like between the COVID year and then what happened back 5 years ago. This whole salary cap thing, though, I thought that this wasn't even going to be a problem. I feel like there were so many problems with baseball, but now this is the cherry on top, and this is a huge deal.
I mean, you know what I feel like it's going to be? WWE style battle, like at this point. Like,
did Christy put that in?
No, I did, actually. And now everyone, all of a sudden, ever since I put that sound in, now everybody loves it. Like everyone's using it.
Could we use that in forecast in the fall? I wonder.
Yeah, you could. Hey, you can use that to stop a battle from going down.
No, but we might have some this year. But yeah, I just don't like the chances of them coming to an agreement on this. And I feel like there is one side that will have no issue. Missing a full year.
I mean, I'm surprised that the owners would be willing to sacrifice a year. They need it. They're the ones that need the money to run the franchises. And
the people that we will feel really bad for in all this, honestly, will be like the concession stand people.
The fans, too.
The fans. I mean, because baseball is, to be fair, they are building momentum with the numbers. I think the product on the field is the worst that I've ever seen in 35 years on this planet. But, the popularity, people are going to the games. They're watching the games. The numbers have been pretty good for the most part. I think the product's been downright terrible for a million different reasons. But, you can't argue with that. And baseball will have a huge hole if they do have a lockout. Because look how long it took baseball to recover from the strike of '94. It took the steroid era of the late '90s for it to really get back to full speed.
Yeah, but like I said, I think Hitting for the Cycle is going to get an extended content season. There's going to be a lot of lockout stuff. We're going to have to try to get a lot of guests. I'm sure there'll be people around to talk about it. But Hitting for the Cycle will get extended. I can't give you an answer for how long it's going to take. But when Hitting for the Cycle ended last season, it was over because the season was over and they came back, like I said, for Hot Stove in December. And then they were not back until spring training in February.
Find out, yeah, but
I have no idea. This is going to be an interesting one, but just be aware, Hitting for the Cycle might be on past the end of the season.
Well, the best thing to do is to make sure to follow us, subscribe to us, and have that notification bell set so you never miss any of the shows or any of the times that stuff comes out last minute.
Yeah, we'll be busy on that. I'm sure we're going to be doing like when we did the WNBA stuff when we were heading towards a lockout. We had a couple of streams where like we had 1,000 people watching us live, like, and people, no one cares about the WNBA. No.
Well, yeah, but you think about it, and one of the things is too. Look at the time of the year that this lockout is shaping up to be. December 1st. It's a Tuesday morning, right? December 1st is Tuesday. So
midnight.
You will have the Monday Night Football game beforehand, but otherwise you don't really have much else going on. Basketball, obviously the NBA and the NHL will be back by then, but they're just starting really for the most part about a month or so in. Hockey will be 2 months in because they're starting early this year, but basketball, the NBA will just be underway, so it's not really going to be competing up against much stuff. So it's going to be a big deal, and there's definitely a lot of us will be tuned into that kind of stuff no matter what time of the night it is.
Oh, I love this. ESPN is now fighting, or ESPN made a statement to Awful Announcing, declaring that they stand by their reporting on the Clippers stuff.
Oh, okay. So just going back to our top story. Yeah.
But anyway, why don't we get into the Tavern Tale and talk about the football forecast and where this is going, because this is going to be an interesting season with the football forecast for all the international games, all the annoying individual games, So, before we get into all the rules, why don't you talk about forecast and how this formulation works?
Yeah, because there's quite a this show has definitely grown over the last few
Evolved.
years. Yeah, that's the word I wanted to use. Evolved. So I started this thing 5 years ago when I used to do a show on this network called Game On, and as Nick nearly sits out his drink. So I've been doing this kind of stuff since my first radio show 15 years ago. I'm going to age myself here. But I started doing stuff like this 15 years ago when I did a radio show at a college-run station, the same station that Nick was a part of too, WCWP. And we were doing a football pick segment because it's something I've always enjoyed. I mean, whenever I listened to it on the radio back in the day, and it was awesome. And I'm like, I want to do something like that. So we started it there. I continue it when I left the network and moved down. When I left the radio station to move down to South Carolina, I continued it through social media. Then Nick reached out to me, and I joined the network back 5 years ago. And I had a show originally, and I didn't want to devote half the show to making NFL picks. So I'm like, well, why don't we come back on a Friday and add a little addition originally called Football Friday.
Oh my God.
And actually, even before it was actually we if you remember the first year back in 2022, I believe it was.
Yeah.
It was actually not even Football Friday. This was just an expansion of Game On where we were just doing NFL picks against the spread on Fridays. And
It was 4 of us.
Well, yeah, and at the very beginning, it was just you and me doing it. And
Oh,
then,
yeah, that's right.
well,
Yep.
what ended up happening was towards the end of that first year, you and Tom would join us and combine your show
With
and
ours.
my show and do it together. And if you remember, you had your pick segment, which I believe was called the Rapid Rundown.
Oh my God, yes.
Am I aging you by talking about this?
A little bit. Well, the rapid rundown is kind of what's it called that Berman and Tom Jackson did?
Yes,
the fastest 2 minutes.
Yes. So after the first year of that expansion, then we did make it its own show called Football Friday. Well, after a year of that, in year 3, we were like, well, sometimes we're doing these picks. The show's not coming out on a Friday, so what are we going to call it Football Friday? So we expanded it to the football forecast, and we added a lot of new faces from the network to it. So then the
network started to grow.
It did grow. So we added some more faces, and we changed the brand a little bit to the football forecast. Then we added some more new faces and evolved some more last year with some new rules. And now this year, pretty much the football forecast is almost its own brand. Not only is it just the main show, which will be live for the first time.
Well,
ever
first full year.
First full year. Not only is it going to be live, but really it's now a brand now because it's expanding over multiple shows over multiple days. Because also, I mean, this network's evolved so much. We've got so many people that wanted to be a part of it. I kind of had to take the lead and say, all right, we have a lot of people. If you remember watching last year, we had on some days as many as 8 people on one show. Nick knows because we spoke with the set of the season. And as you know, I'm somebody that has to at least propose to I'm the main guy in making this, but we also, we decided to talk it out.
Well, let's talk about that briefly for a second before you go into everything else. Originally, you were always the main host. That never changed. But I was kind of still doing like a lot of the what would you say, like just all the technical stuff and making sure everything was
running smooth. Yes.
For the first time last season. Was it last season or the season before? I can't remember now. I think it was last season. I basically said you're going to do everything. I think it was last season.
Yeah, it was the start of last season.
And I said, you know what? He's already doing the pick sheets and all that stuff. I'll let him just do all the games and let him set it up. That it's much easier so he can see it from his point of view, not mine. So you took over running the whole show, which is good because you have a form and a way of doing it.
Yeah.
You are right, though. 8 people was just becoming a headache.
Well, I will tell you this. So I had a couple of friends who did watch the show last year, and they would tell me, I told them, I said, look, if there's any thoughts about the show, like, let me know. One of the first critiques they had was 8 is enough. 8 is too much. 8 is too much.
Too much.
I'm like, okay, so, but we have a lot of great talent on this network. I'm like, okay, we have to think of something here. But one of the other changes to the show right as the playoffs started last year is we made the show a live show. So I'm like, all right, here's what we're going to do. In some ways, let's simplify the main show, but let's expand the brand,
It's back to the original 5 or 6.
So we're going to have the original 5 on the main show, but we're also going to have some people that were with us last year go to a separate show and still be part of the show itself, which we'll get into in just a second. So one of the other changes we made last year was not only was the play, meaning not only were we just picking spreads, but we also included totals for the first time. That will not change this year either. So once again, we're going to pick every game this season, all 272 games, and once again, you have the option of either picking the spread or the total for those games.
The only one you won't technically see on either show technically is Thursday night. Technically, they'll talk about it. Obviously, we're going to have a pre-show, which we'll talk about, but you're not going to. That's the only game technically you won't see on the forecast.
Yeah, unless during the holiday season, that'll obviously change a little bit. But so with really just the change in the network really becoming a live network now,
24/7 basically.
Yes, and so we're going to have so the forecast for the first time ever, full season of a live show, that'll happen. But we're also going to have football night on the bench on Thursday nights, which will be live leading into the Thursday night game. We're going to still have Gridiron Gurus, which will go back to its time slot on Sundays at noon, leading you into the Sunday slate. So almost like, Sunday count, like NFL Countdown, or your NFL Today, or
like the Prime Video.
Sunday. Yeah.
Which, in my opinion, this might be a rough take, but I think the Prime Video pre-show is the best one right now.
I think I have no issue with it. I think it's good.
I think they got the right mix of players. Who's hosting? Is it Carissa?
It's Carissa, yeah.
Okay, so Carissa Thompson I think she's great.
It's Patrick, Whitworth, and
what's
Sherman.
his name? Well, also, what's his name? He used to be on CBS. Tony Gonzalez.
Gonzalez,
right?
That's it. Tony Gonzalez, yep.
That's a great pre-show, and I think Sherman's finally learned to calm himself down during the pre-show. But, so when you look at football night on the bench, Johnny said it well, that 8 people was just not going to cut it on forecast. We just couldn't. It was too many people, too many bodies. The average amount of time you had to talk was cut by an 1/8, essentially, and that was a problem.
So the thought was there, just the execution and stuff were not.
Well, and then there was just some other things that were going on that I didn't love, like just locking the same teams every week, which we'll get
scoring system in just a moment. Yeah,
we'll get into that. Just other things, technicality rules that we needed to change, making it so that the locks actually mean something this year, but having the other vehicles being able to do things like football night on the bench, or I'm trying to think if we have any other vehicles, just other shows. Like we have unnecessary wages for our betting platforms. Like Nate and Connor, you might see them show up on forecasts on select weeks.
Mm-hmm.
I'm talking to Connor about doing a 2-minute or so commentary that we're going to add to forecast, possibly like for parlays. So there's a lot more expansion we're doing to work towards our goals to get more people to watch shows.
Yeah, and football stuff always does very, very well. I always say this: it's one of my favorite. It's my favorite time of the year. Because there's just so much. Between breaking down games, there's so much we can talk about. So where this has grown in 5 years is something I was dreaming of, and now that we're here, and look, the show gets kicked up another notch this year too with everything that's going on. So Yeah, go ahead.
Hold on one second.
Oh, yes. Yeah,
So you're going to find this very interesting, what just broke.
Okay.
It has to do with the Lakers.
Okay.
So remember how we just had a huge ownership sale? Mark Walters just sold off his majority stake. He's in the news because of the supposed insurance fraud going on with his companies. He sold out his majority stake, and the original report was that the Buss family is staying in its minority stake. Well, according to Shams, the Buss family has decided to sell its remaining 17.8% ownership stake to Josh Kushner and Bob Iger, who bought the original stake. So,
yep.
So that means that the Buss family is no longer in ownership of the Los Angeles Lakers currently. And it's now fully owned by Josh Kushner. Yes, if you know the Kushner name, you know. And Bob Iger, the former CEO of Disney, are now 100% owners of the Los Angeles Lakers.
Ooh, all right.
And there was some reports out that apparently LeBron, I don't believe this, but LeBron apparently said he would have stayed if the Buss family and them was not around.
I don't believe that.
I think he wanted out. I know him and Jeannie didn't get along, but that's interesting that the Buss family is no longer in ownership.
A family, a name that you associate with the Lakers. I mean, and it's crazy because if you think about like the valuations, like how much they sold for, think about like, and it came out at a time when we saw it when Forbes gives its annual evaluations of all these teams. You just think of like, I'll even go there, the Cowboys. Like how much are they?
How about them Cowboys?
30 billion.
Well, so Forbes did an evaluation after the $12.5 billion sale by, by Mark Walters. They put the Cowboys at almost 16 billion.
Yeah, I think they're worth at least 20.
I hate that, Jerry. Like, he's probably in the corner going.
Hey, look, it's the thing he does very well. I got to be fair. He's a great business guy. May not be a great football GM, but he's a great business owner.
I will
say I think he's had a decent offseason, to be fair. But
I just hate that he keeps getting more value on his stuff when he doesn't deserve it, in my opinion.
Well, I mean, the brand, though, it's still a brand. I mean, it's one of the reasons why they're talked about all the time.
I mean, just wait. Just because you're going to say it once the football season comes back. Get up, first take.
Nick, it's already been out there. I mean, I don't know if he really meant this, but I caught the first few minutes driving in between stores this morning, and I'm hearing Greeny talk, and I think he kind of said this jokingly, but bringing up the Cowboys and the 85 Bears in the same sense. I'm like, Greeny, please relax, all right?
God, make it stop.
No, the bias, and we haven't even hit the season yet, but the pro Cowboy bias on ESPN is sickening. I'm sorry, it is.
It's going to be in every A block on First Take, and every A block on Get Up. It's going to be.
And with ESPN having the Super Bowl this year.
It's going to be worse.
Yeah, and just think if they actually make the game.
I don't think that's going to happen, but.
Well, I will be fair, though. I think they have improved the team. I mean.
No, they did defensively, and also their offensive line. They've really done a good job.
Yeah, but
Greeny needs to stick to rooting for the Jets.
Well, he does. I mean, he talks. See, he talks like a fan on that show too. Look, I love Get Up. It's like a love-hate relationship because I actually love watching the show. Don't get me wrong.
But once football season,
I don't even blame Greeny. I blame the producers. That's where it's coming from. It's not Greeny that's doing this. It's the producers that decide to keep.
The executive producer. The executive producer controls what the topics are. Well, or the network really controls it, but
because I don't know. NFL Live, which I think is still the best football show out there. I mean, their A blocks are not Cowboys every day.
No, even though I don't think NFL Live should be on all year long. I think that's sacrilege, in my opinion.
I think though that's the direction that ESPN has become though now. I mean, look, NBA Today is on every day. College Football Live used to be an everyday show.
But they couldn't do it. I don't think they could sustain it. Like the NBA, Well, the reason NBA Today is on is because of the WNBA. I think that's how they sustain NBA Today.
That's part of it,
But the NFL, I don't know how. I guess because of the 24/7 news cycle with the NFL now, they can sustain it.
they might take a week or two off, depending on if there's like certain, tennis or golf events that are happening. They might take like a week or two off. But I mean, it's just, you know what? It speaks volumes. And look, we do it with here now with the forecast. I mean, look how popular the NFL is. It's king right now. I mean, we've taken now the football forecast, which was an expansion of my show 5 years ago. And we've now not only made it its own show, but now it's almost its own brand, because now we've even got shows that are branching off from connected to the forecast.
True, and also we had no choice because we had so many people, like you said.
Which is a good problem to have.
It's a great problem.
It's a great problem, yeah.
There's that metaphorical bench in case we need people to jump into the show. Oh, and I left that out too. Just because they're not on the main show for forecast doesn't mean you won't see them.
Right, and also their picks and stuff will still count too. Like they're going to still be in the competitions that we've had, so they'll be a part of it too. It means
and you might see them because like there's some weeks that some people can't be on from the normal crew of people, so you might see one or two depending on the week. Now we try to keep a balance, so like if we're going to use fill-in people, it's not going to be the same person. We try to get some people a chance to be on the show. That way we can spread it out. And the big thing that I've been trying to really circle the wagons on is social media. Like you and I have talked about this many times. We got to figure out how to get you on an Instagram without it getting hacked.
Well, somebody want to run it for me? That's the best way I can tell you.
It's unbelievable. I have to tell this story really fast. So what is it? 3 times now we've tried, and 3 times the account has been hacked.
Yeah.
It's
just a sign. It's just a telling sign that you were not allowed to have one or run one.
I mean, you got on TikTok and did get hacked.
No, I TikTok I've been safe. Knock on wood. Social media, Twitter has been fine. Facebook's been fine. It's just been Instagram for whatever the reason.
But like the big thing is just sharing, and that's a thing you and I get frustrated with sometimes on that show where. Like, you're on a show. Why don't you share, like, that you're on a show? I've always believed that any show that I'm on, I want to share that I'm on it.
Well, I've told this story, too. I schedule a lot of my posts ahead of time because, obviously,
a lot of people do.
As much as I'd love to be around 24/7, unfortunately, that's just not realistic.
That's not life.
No, wait till you see what my life's going to be like on Fridays in the fall. I'm going to go from working in the morning to doing the football forecast to going to gigs right after the show at night. So it's going to be a full Friday.
Just wait until MTGP finally comes back in the fold for you.
Please do. It's a thing I want to have because I want Nick D and I to also have our own football competition too. So
that was the whole Pick 6 idea you guys were discussing.
Yeah, and I'm going to have to talk to him about that because obviously I will not be on that show till probably September at this point. But
wow,
yeah, we'll have that there. Well, remember, because next week. And we'll talk about this too with the forecast. Is there's no shows outside of the previews in a couple of weeks.
Yes. So the August 31st. Actually, I have a calendar.
Yeah. So August 31st. Oh yeah. So our football. You're dedicating the week of August 30th as football week on the network. That transitional week. So we're going to do like we've done every year. Even with football, when this was Football Friday, since the forecast, or really it's been main since the forecast has taken over, is we do an NFC preview, an AFC preview, and this year, though, a little bit differently, we're going to also add a draft and a fantasy draft show into it. So,
well, this is the first time we've actually gotten it consistent, the fantasy league, and we have 10 people, Tom told me, so I found out we're up to 10, so we completed the number of people we needed.
Okay.
For the fantasy league, and we are doing we're calling it ETB Survival Pool, not Survivor Pool, because if you say a Survivor Pool, the WWE might come after you for licensing problems. So we're calling it ETB Survival Pool.
I'm surprised it wasn't the actual reality show that would have gone after you. For
that too. But what's great about the survival pool is that it's not a one pick and you're out. We're doing something different this year where you have 3 chances. It's a 3 strikes and you're out survival pool this year. So that means you can't be eliminated until after week 3 is over. This for the survivor pool. That way you don't feel like a complete jerk if you get your pick wrong in week 1.
Yes, and I want to make sure that all 10 of those guys will be on and will be part of the forecast in terms of the scoring that we're going to do. This year.
Oh, that's the plan. And then like we're going to have rules for our Thursday pick. This is another thing that we struggled with last year for Thursday picks. But now that we have football night on the bench, we do need to get the Thursday night picks in before that show starts.
Yeah, so 6 o'clock. You want to say the deadline? An hour beforehand.
So the stream goes from 7:15 to 8:15, leading right up to the kickoff. So I would say probably 6:30, nothing later than 6:30.
And that will be the thing too. So our show is going to be live on Fridays at 7 p.m. Eastern during the football season. The odds for those games will go up till 6 o'clock. Determined 6 p.m. I will refresh everything, and those will be the odds that we go with, spreads and totals. Just to be fair, they usually will not change between like that. That's usually when we get the Friday injury reports.
It would take an injury of epic proportions for it to change.
And at that point, the Friday injury report will come out already. So barring something, on like during the weekend, like there was the 1 year that, and I remember this too. I believe it was late 2 years ago. It was the Dolphins and Browns where we were expecting that Tua was supposed to start for the Dolphins. He was scratched on Saturday, and things changed. Now, that being said, picks, any plays that you make are final. There's no change. There's no change in them. Even with
I'm eliminating that rule this year.
It's too confusing. I think a lot of the betting sites would not. I mean, I know they have injury insurance. We can't do that. I mean, that's as nice as that would be. This
is not full disclosure too. This is not real betting, meaning that we're not putting actual money down. We're giving you plays that we would play if we were doing.
That's why it's called a play. Yeah, that's why I always emphasize by saying play.
Oh, don't remind me. That reminds me of something else too. But what I was going to say is, eventually, if we get to a point where we're working with wink, wink, sportsbook company, you wouldn't be able to do any of that because that's fraud. Technically, if you put a pick in and then you try to change it after it's in. And a lot of the people who do the picks, like on all the big radio shows and all this stuff, when a pick is made, it's made in the moment when you know what's going on. You can't control what happens. A lot of the radio shows make their picks on Friday for Sunday, at least the Monday through Friday shows do. And sometimes you'll hear them on Monday say, shoot, I couldn't control that injury. Well, that's true. That's what happens.
And that's one of the many reasons why we moved this show to a live show as well on Friday. So because how many times also that we used to record. So back
record
in the day,
on Friday.
We would record Friday night and it would come out Saturday afternoon. How many times would we talk about a possible injury, and then as the show comes out, there's already been a decision made on that player.
And by the way, there will still be clips for locks of the week, Sunday night football, Monday night football.
Yes.
So you'll still see clips and stuff. It'll be a lot easier to move forward with the show being live on Friday because we can go right after the show ends. I don't have to worry about putting the show together first.
I would sit around with Nick on Friday night, and 10 o'clock would roll around, and it's still waiting to export and stuff. So
I'm still not done, and I'm like, what is going on here? But basically, the rules are going to be once you make a pick, it can't be changed.
Yeah,
we got to stay on that.
Yeah, once I go to you and you make your play, obviously locks, you can't change your lock once you already do it. But once I go to you and you already make your decision, and as I go to the next, when I go to the next player, that pick's already locked. That's already in. So
actually, I want to emphasize that too, what you just said, because we had a few instances that caused me editing hell because people would change their locks. If you remember that.
Oh yeah.
That's another one. So once you make your lock and you hear that, actually, if I have it over here, once you hear this sound after your lock, that's it. It's over. No more locking. So if you lock, that's it.
And same thing with this too.
Right.
Yeah, so once you make your play and we go to the next player, then it's already locked in. Now, do you want to talk about the scoring, or am I jumping the gun a little bit?
Well, so no, you're fine. I was just going to say, since you talked about locks, I think we should talk about how that's going to work this year.
Yeah. So we do have a lot of changes. So we do have, I shouldn't say a lot of changes, but we have some changes with the show, and that is one of them. So Nick was just talking about a survival sort of a survival league. Well, I'm gonna say it's a survival lock this season. So what that means is if your lock hits, you will be able to lock that team or that point total again. And if your lock misses, you will not be able to lock that team or lock a total again. So let's just say, for instance, and I can say this with Nick. Let's say Nick locks the Jets in week 1. And this is on either side of the spread. So even if he's taking the Jets to cover, even if the Jets are a dog and he's taking them to cover and he thinks the other team will win, because that's how it is. If he takes the Jets in week 1 and his lock does not work, Nick cannot lock the Jets for the rest of the season.
Right. So basically, it's a survivor situation. But if you win your lock with that team, you could put them back in your pocket if you want, or you can use them next week. It's up to you.
And that's even if you take a team to cover as an underdog and you think the other team's going to win. It's just like any sort of thing. Same thing, though, with the total this year, too. So at any point, if you lock an over or under, that if you miss on the total, then you cannot lock a total for the rest of the season either.
Okay, so we were discussing two things also, because we said, was the survivor, that's not going to count towards the survivor lock if you lock a total, right?
If you lock a total and you miss, then you can't lock a total the rest of the year. That is part of it.
Okay, so but we agreed that doesn't affect the teams of
that
matchup.
Correct. Yeah, so it's like a 33rd team.
Right.
Ari would be proud of us.
Yes. Oh,
30, yeah.
What's
so
his name?
the
Ari
total,
Miro.
and that's either side of the total, over or under. That's the 33rd team, let's say.
Right. So use it wisely, because if you mess up on a over/under, it's it for the season.
Yeah, that's so. Like the lock has to be really. You have to think really long and hard. And look, we always think long and hard because the lock is a double or nothing. Oh, well, that's another rule, another change. You have to really think about the lock, because normally the lock is a double or nothing scenario. So let's just go back to the very top for a second here. So your play will either be the spread or the total, one or the other. It's 2 points if you get it right. It's obviously you don't score if you get it wrong. And for a push, which would be on the spread side, it's 1 point. Now, locks are a double scenario either which way. Now, normally there are 4 points for a win or 0 for a loss. Not this year. It's 4 points for a win, or you lose 2 points for a loss. And also note this, and this is a rule from years past, which we are bringing back this year. A push is considered a tie in the standings, but it will be a miss points-wise. So let's say the Jets are, let me give you a perfect example for the Jets. Let's say the Jets are a 3-point favorite. If you take the Jets as your lock and they win by 3, you lose 2 points. It is considered a loss for a lock, but it will be a tie in the standings.
Well, if you think about it, you didn't technically cover the spread. So it would be a loss regardless.
Yeah. Also, another rule with locks, and this is something that we've also done in years past, locks are not allowed on games that are not picked on the show, i.e. Thursday Night Football or primetime picks. The picks that are clipped, Sunday night, Monday Night Football, not lockable.
Yeah, so just to kind of explain that, because some people are going to say, well, what do you mean? And I'm like, think about it from a standpoint to the 200 people that are watching in here. What I want to explain to people, when I did this originally, when I did all the clipping, is it doesn't make sense to have locks in the primetime picks, Sunday night, Monday night, because I want the Sunday night picks and the Monday night picks to stand alone away from like potential locks of the week. And if you have a lock of the week and a Sunday or Monday night, it doesn't really make sense.
And secret that kind of kills me in week 1 because I actually was thinking about a lock on on one of the primetime.
Wow, that's a rare from you.
Oh yeah, so I was already starting to think about it, and I'm like, okay, so we cannot lock such and such on week 1, so we'll have to think of something else. Fortunately, I've got some time, but
yeah, you got about a little less than a month.
Yeah, so we are. Yeah, let me just continue the rules stuff. So we've talked about the lock. So instead of either it's a 2x play either way. So it's either 4 points for a win or -2 for a loss. So that's different this year. Double or nothing. It's 2x either way. So you really got to think long and hard because not only if you miss your lock this year, not only do you're not able to lock that team again, but you lose 2 points.
Makes sense.
But let's see if we keep going through here. So, okay, this is a rule that we had last year too, which we all bring back this year. So the player or players who end the week with the best record will be awarded the equivalent of a lock, which will be 4 extra points.
Right. So it's a double or nothing scenario.
And it will be interesting this year because we've got 10 players in the competition. So something to watch here too. So we'll have maybe some splitting as well. Also, so like I said, also spreads and totals as of 6 p.m. Eastern will be what we are using on the show, which obviously airs live starting at 7 p.m. Eastern on Friday. So something to watch. So if you are looking at it live at 7 o'clock and you're wondering, that seems a little off, it's as of 6 p.m. We're going to take it up as late as possible in terms of the plays.
And if there happens to be an injury that happens to be floating around, it will happen from time to time around the Friday time our show airs. Like maybe we'll give it a few extra minutes just to see if the line moves.
Now, normally I'll tell you from experience, we usually get all the injury reports for the week. The injury designations for the weekend usually are out before we come on Friday night. That's one of the reasons why we have the show on Friday night, is because it gives us time during the day, because usually they float around Friday afternoon after practice, and we get the injury designation leading into the game on Sunday. So that gives us some time to make sure we have all of it through, see if the odds adjust reflect that, and we go from there. And as we said, all spreads and locks are final, and we will also have something that we brought back, something we had the last couple of years too, in games that are not the best on paper. We will fast track them, so they will be very quick plays, with minimal to no explanation.
I think something I would suggest, if we're just going to fast track a game, I would just change it at this point. I wouldn't even, if a game is so bad that you have it as a fast track, I would just say, give me a pick.
Yeah,
I wouldn't even.
One word plays. That's it. We did that towards the end of last year. We did one word plays.
Right. Either that or just say cover or whatever you're going to say.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're trying to be more efficient with the show. Now, with a live show, you have a little more room timing wise because people are going to come in and watch. The one wrinkle with the live show is we might be reacting to live breaking news of injuries or alerts that come out also. So we're just going to have to keep that in mind. And that injuries could happen.
Oh, yeah. And here's a perfect example. Last year, we were recording when Phillip Rivers was returning after a 5-year hiatus, and he had actually not been off the practice squad yet. So we didn't know he was officially going to start. And I had said on the show that he is officially not off the practice squad. Well, what ended up happening? By the time the show aired, he was off the practice squad and he was good to go.
So with the live show, well, that will allow us to react in live time, though. Now with the live show being in our disposal, we can now react to anything because a lot of times some weird news breaks during that slot. And now that we're an hour later,
yes. If I'm on the show, that is bound to happen.
It's funny he says that because he's referring to when moving the goalpost was still being recorded, the Hubert Davis story.
Well, it's still happening. And then last week when I wasn't on, what broke last week? Oh, the NBA schedule.
Was it the NBA schedule?
I believe it was something because Tom was filling in for me last week. And I think we figured out that it's not just a me curse, it's a show curse.
It was the last 2 weeks, actually, he was filling in. I'm going to have to figure out it again this week. But
Sucks. Responsibilities suck. I'm sorry, but I
No,
will
I'm not
definitely
blaming
be
you.
around on Fridays at 7:00. So
No, I'm not blaming you. But yeah, like with all these changes coming in, we want the show to be more free flow. Originally, you and I were discussing, because that's how the whole survivor locks thing came into play. I originally wanted that you couldn't lock the same team in back-to-back weeks, but I got flacked upon.
So, funny story about this. So, Nick and I talk in the off season about, all right, what can we do to adjust the show? Look, now I go back. I'm not going to lie. I have a lot of driving I do with my main job. I put on
You
old
watch.
shows and I listen to it for hours and hours because I'm like, I want to play back, and I'm like, all right, let's see, what can we do to improve it, or how do I react to the show? My own criticism of myself, even. Nick and I spoke in the offseason after one show that he did with me, and we were talking about the whole lock situation, and the lock rule that is being used for this year was his idea. And I wasn't sold on it at first, but after I thought about it more and more, I was like, okay, you sold me on it. Let's go with it.
I wanted to be harsher, to be honest. I wanted that you couldn't lock the same team.
Well, think about this though, Nick. And you know what? Let's use me as a perfect example because we know how bad I was, how unlucky and unfortunate I was last year. There was not a lot of this last year. There was more of this. Yeah. Let's go into week 10, for instance, and let's say I am 0 for 9 in locks, and I'm down, and I'm going into week 10, and I'm down 9 teams 9 out of 33 teams that I could use for a lock. And remember, I can't use a Thursday night play. I can't use a Thursday night lock, Sunday night or Monday night. It really, the strategy, and you don't want to use a lock just to use a lock. I mean, it's got to be a true, you want it to be authentic and real and stuff, especially when you have 4 points riding on it. It creates a lot of strategy. You have to be very strategic.
And I know people were getting mad at me because, well, what do you mean? You can't tell me what teams I can. Well, I can because we have some people on the show who just pick the same freaking team for 16, 17 weeks straight. And first of all, that's not true authentic picking, in my opinion, picking the same lock for 16, 17 weeks. If we're working with a sports book eventually, what do you think the sports book is going to say if you're locking the same team for 16 or 17 weeks? That looks bad. So that's why I instituted this whole survivor locks scenario, because it makes you think before you just say, I'm picking this team, this team, this team. Well, you better be right or you're going to lose it, or at least that team.
Yeah. Maybe the funny thing will be if Nick locks against the Jets every week and he's going to be forced to pick the Jets. Well, no, there's no way that's possible. See, you're going to be in an interesting spot because with the Jets not having as of right now, not having a primetime game or a Thursday nighter, you're going to have a choice to lock against them 17 times this year.
Oh my God. Well, except for when they play the Patriots twice, or when they play multiple teams.
Well, if that's true, but maybe if
I won the game though.
Yeah, I mean, if you pick the Patriots as a lock and then you play late and they win that and you win that, you still have another choice for later in the year.
The problem is the spreads are going to be ridiculous on some of those games. Because I think the over-under is 3.5 for them.
Oh, and that's something we'll do during the preview shows, and we'll talk about those in just a moment.
But you know what? I'm looking forward to it.
What is their season total win?
3.5 over-under for wins, I think.
Wow. Okay. I actually would take the over. I think they're going to win a few more than people think, but we'll talk about that down the road.
I think I had them at like 5, possibly. That was something I looked at, but I don't know. I don't know if I trust the Jets. Anyway, the show is going to be adjusted. Like we said, there's going to be a lot of more scenarios that actually make you use your brain to think about these picks. We also want to make the audience think about the picks and excuse me, that it's not just us sitting here and throwing a dart at a board and saying, oh, I picked this team because I don't like certain quarterback. Okay. Like we had that a few times last year. We had a viral clip between me and we got over it because we figured it out and everything. But like, I just don't want to see. I don't want to see locks being made because you dislike another person on another team. I just don't want to see that.
Fair. That's very fair because that's not authentic. That's one of the words that I was thinking about a lot in the offseason was we need an authentic play. So, and like you said, you know what I mean? Would you do that? Would you take in real life, if you were putting money down in a real game, would you really do it just because it's A, your team, or B, you don't like another player on another team? Look, I can't stand the Cowboys or the Eagles, but I mean, if I think they're going to win the game, if I like their odds, I'm going to go with them.
I mean, people give me crap about like the amount of times I get angry at the Jets, but I But I know when my team is going to lose. I know it. Like when the Jets stumble upon a lucky victory, I will say it like that. It was a lucky victory. Like if they beat the Patriots, which I'm not really seeing very much of a scenario of that happening this year. Like
maybe we'll see this after week 1, though. You have this.
If we keeping a buck right now, we ass.
Well, that sounds going to be there, period. But
yes, we will have. Oh, yes, and we will have. Yes, because if you remember from years past too, what's been another big thing about football forecasts? What have we had before?
Well, what the videos? Video. Oh, Tom. Yeah, Tom Montalbano will be bringing the videos back. The Trade Emporium video was probably one of the funniest ones he's done in a while.
What I'm going to be fascinated now is what one quarterback started this whole video trend?
RELAX.
Before him.
What? Oh, Russell Wilson?
Russell Wilson, and now he's going to be part of the NFL Today.
Well, that's where this whole thing came in. Yeah.
Oh man, and it's funny how that's evolved in 5 years too.
I missed that because that was like the best part of the show, where we just have Broncos country, let's ride.
And the Broncos were in the AFC Championship game last year. So look at the growth they've had in 5 years.
I came up with a funny one. We were doing the WNBA. I came up with Kathy's Country, Let's Cry.
See, and now you see the growth of it is now it's got sequels too.
I forgot. Tom had come up with another one. It was in the Slack chat. I don't remember what it was, but it was something with the 49ers because of the what's that thing that's going around with all the injuries?
Oh, not the generator.
The space station thing or whatever they're calling it. I forgot what he said, but he made a joke on for the Niners. But anyway. This show is going to evolve as it has, and we're trying to keep it moving. I'd really like to keep it to like an hour and 15 minutes. If the conversation's going well, an hour 20, but not more than that.
Opening week might be a little bit interesting because it is the first week of the year. The schedule actually is really good. I mean, I was looking at them. And I was already trying to find fast tracks for them, and I found a couple. But as of right now, there's not a whole lot. Now, remember, we will not have the opening night game because that's on a Wednesday night, and we will not have the game in Australia on that Thursday night to pick. Those plays will already be in, so we'll already have 2 picks, and we'll already have 2 plays in. So somebody could have 4 points already.
Well,
so somebody could have this twice. Or more likelihood it'll be, or if you're talking to me, it'll be. Yeah.
Well, I think we're doing football night on the bench on Monday that week just to get those picks in via preview because of the schedule.
Let me take a look here and see what we determined. I do have that in here somewhere. Football night on the bench, week 1 will be a Monday night.
Yeah, so it's going to be done. It's going to be a live show done before any games even. Now, normally, like we said, football night on the bench will be done on Thursdays before the game. So
I will tell you this. So this is, and these could change, but this is what we're looking at. Week 1, Monday night. So that would be Labor Day, September 7th. Week 12 is Thanksgiving. That will be that's looking like possibly 6 p.m. on Thanksgiving Eve on Wednesday.
Well, don't they have a game on Thanksgiving Eve also?
Well, yes, that's why it would be moved if they were going to do it to be on Wednesday. Now, the thing is, that may not happen because we also have Forever Power 5 that's happening that week. So
I know.
So again, notification set on that, and week 15 will be the final Thursday night football night on the bench, because obviously after that, weeks 16, 17, and 18 will be during the holiday season.
We're looking into maybe
obviously there's no Thursday night game in week 18.
We're looking into possibly having some pre-shows for the playoffs, possibly maybe some Mondays.
Okay.
But that hasn't been determined yet.
Yeah, obviously a lot can change, but that's what we're looking like. As far as football forecast goes, as far as the schedule goes, the only changes to the show, and this is actually a perk of one of the many perks of the live show, is we would have to move around towards the end of the season. We would have to move it around a lot. The only changes of the show will be on week 12, Thanksgiving week. That'll be on Tuesday, November 24th. And then week 16 and 17 will both be on Wednesday because of Christmas and New Year's.
Right. So I think what we said was Football Night on the Bench was going to end after 15 weeks.
That is the plan, yeah.
Just because of now, eventually when sponsors and all that stuff into the fray, we can have a different discussion after
that's
week 15.
The current plan. Yeah, obviously this stuff can change, but that is what our current plan is.
So it'll end at week 15. We'll still do forecast. We'll still have all that. I'm just gonna have to find what I'm gonna do with the rest of everybody else, because we can't have them all on the show.
No, that will be a situation where we may go 6 at most. Or if all five of the main people can be on it, we just roll with that. That's something that'll be in the works.
We'll have to figure that out. I don't know. Maybe depending on the schedules, after week 15, maybe people do a live stream for Sunday, or like before Sunday. We can figure something out.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, there's definitely a lot of potential. I mean, like I said, this is a good problem to have. You know, it used to never be like this. Again, it used to be just one show. This started 5 years ago as an expansion of a show, and now it's almost its own brand. So I'm excited to see what happens. By the way, previews. Let's talk about that, because that is also part of the football forecast. We do an NFC preview, an AFC preview, and we have our fantasy draft show. The NFC preview will be on Monday, August the 31st. The AFC preview will be on Tuesday, September 1st, and the fantasy draft show for all of us will be on Thursday the 3rd, September the 3rd.
Right. So there's a lot of stuff coming up that week. Like I said, 31st to the 4th. Most of the shows will be off that week, probably except for Forever Power 5.
That's on Wednesday. Yeah, that's already been determined.
So anything that's football related will be on, but everything else for the most part will be off that week, just so we can make our way through all the previews, the fantasy draft, and all that stuff.
Yep.
Trying to think, what else did we have on the forecast front? Did we have anything else really?
No, I mean those are the rules. We've got our players. Now we just need to get there.
I know.
I'm telling you, no, you know what I need?
What?
I need CBS to put out on CBS's PR to tweet out the crews for this season. That's the only thing I'm missing. I've got my Fox guys. I've got my, obviously, Sunday Night Football. I've got my ESPN. I need my CBS. But they're usually late to the party. They usually put it out about late August. So they'll come out with that, and then we'll put everything together, and we'll be full steam ahead.
Actually, do you want to mention that for people who haven't watched before, what you do?
So I started this 15 years ago. I love the media. I love doing this. So I'm like, how do I incorporate them into this show? Well, I give out the crews before each game. You know why? Because I can. Because because I like to be different, and I like to give them out. So we always mention who's going to be calling each game, because why not? No, and I like it too because you know what I mean. We've always had this debate about announcers and stuff like that, and people say, "Oh, they won't watch a game because of a crew." Well, that's just silly. You watch no matter what, and
Right.
I always say like, there's no bad football crew in my opinion. So we give them some love before each game to show you who's doing what. For the Fox, everybody's back, same crews as last year. So the 6 teams there will be set. CBS is going to be the fascinating one.
With the Tony Romo situation.
Yeah. Well, we do know that it'll be hey, you know what? Let's practice. This is a chance to practice, Johnny. Here we go. We do know that it will be a Jim Nantz, J.J. Watt, Tracy Wolfson specials for the first crew.
That's a mouthful.
Yeah, that's going to be a little bit of alliteration. I got to be very careful with that. So I'm going to have to take my time when I give that crew a lot of
when you have to do the weird ones, when it comes down to, what is it, near the holidays sometimes?
Well, so there will be some weeks that we do have a 7th crew.
I'm forgetting the woman's name, the sideline reporter.
Oh, you know, and I love her to death, and I apologize for saying this. I have not been, and I've known her for 10 years. I have not been able to say Aditi's last name in 10 years. That's why we just say it's a Spiro, Adam, and Aditi special.
That
I don't know if those 3 are back together.
Up. And again, no offense to her last name, I just can't.
Well, I'm not gonna screw it up and embarrass her or embarrass myself. So that's why we just say Spiro, Adam, Aditi special.
But when you get
I don't know if those
crews,
3 are back together yet or not, but I would assume they are.
But when you get the mixed crews where they're all over the place, that's when it becomes.
On Fox, you will definitely have some changes because when the baseball playoffs start, I believe Adam Amin and Joe Davis will be the 2 guys in the divisional round, or I should say in the wild card round, and then we get to the divisional in the playoffs, and obviously Joe Davis goes off to there. Everybody else bumps up a little bit, and they split them throughout. Now, I believe I saw a tweet, and I don't know if this is definitely going to happen, but for my college people, looks like Tim Brando is going to be in week 3 as my 7th guy. So we might have, let's say, Tim Brando, Matt Millen, and I mean, do I want to throw Sarah Kustok possibly as the 7th person this year? We'll have to see.
She's done that. She's done a bunch of NFL games, from what I understood.
Yeah, she did quite a few last year. So,
and then you have what's his name from CBS who jumps? Tom McCarthy.
Yeah, so Tom will be there. So we're just trying to think so CBS. So here's the thing with CBS that we have to watch for. So we know that J.J. Watt is going to join Jim Nantz and Tracy as the number 1 guy. Ross Tucker now goes into the 2 spot with Ian Eagle and
that's
Evan
not the name I had on the bingo card for sure.
I like Ross though. I think it's.
I like Ross.
Fit. I would assume Kevin Harlan, Trent Green, Melanie Collins will be back. Now Andrew Catalan's crew is what's going to be interesting to watch here too because he's gone with the 4-person crews the last couple of years.
I call him Mr. Frequent Flyer Miles, Andrew Catalan.
Well, if you remember last year, Charles Davis was with him. Charles is going to the college side to replace the retiring, let's see if I can guess who it is, Gary Danielson.
Gary Danielson, yeah.
So I don't know if they go with a 4th person there. But we know Spiro, Adam Aditi.
I never understood the 4-person crews, to be honest.
Well, what we've noticed now is Fox started the 2-person sideline.
Well, yeah, you're talking about
with Aaron Andrews and Tom Rinaldi, but we've actually been seeing that now increase. Like obviously, ESPN now has gone with 2 sideline reporters, with Lisa and Laura Rutledge getting an increased role in NFL stuff.
By the way, she is everywhere now.
Well, I know you know where she won't be this year. SEC Nation.
Well, yeah, but Matt Berry's hosting it now.
And we found out today that now SEC Nation is going to be a 3-hour show.
Oh my God.
From 9 to noon.
That's insane. I'm just going to say that.
And also with ESPN and the NFL Network coming together, that creates some interesting things for when NFL Network has the international games this year.
It's not only that. I read something, we're going to do it on PR on Wednesday. I read that they're going to be simulcasting, was it NFL Live during the season?
Yes.
With the Sunday, was that a 3-hour show too?
Sunday NFL Countdown. I believe Sunday NFL Countdown was from 10 until
1, I think.
1.
Because they don't have any games on Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
So I think I read that's going to be simulcast on NFL Network also, which I guess makes sense because they don't want to do competing programming anymore.
I will tell you, from a media perspective, one of the people I'm very happy for this year is Molly McGrath to become the second person on the NFL side. Also, filling for Laura on NFL Live. I think that is well deserved.
I saw her already. She's good.
And we've got some people that have stepped up in the college side too. And I know we're talking football forecast here, but ESPN's college football crews are so deep and talented. I mean, it's awesome. I can't wait. I can't wait for that to come back on too.
Didn't McGregor get a promotion also?
You know, Taylor McGregor did not get the jump that I thought she was going to get.
But she got moved up. I know
she's staying with Dave Pasch and on his crew on the college side. But I thought she would have gotten a step up. I think, because Katie George is going back to staying in college. Who's the one that got a big jump?
I thought it was her.
So deep. I will say I'm very happy for Taylor Davis to become the official to get the primetime SEC network game.
I saw that.
For her.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's gonna. I can't wait. Two more weeks for college, 4 more for the NFL. And I'll tell you, the one thing I will say is once this show starts, our first football forecast on Friday, September the 11th. Once it starts, it is going to fly.
Oh, it always does.
Don't kid yourself. I'm already starting to look at Halloween stuff because before you know it, it's going to be here. And I'm going to be with a different band this year on Halloween, so I have to get a different costume. So
don't say that because I was at CVS the other day getting a flu shot thing, and in the aisles they have 2 full aisles of candy.
Yeah, no, it started. I know Walmart's have them already. Yep. I know that was my job.
I can't. Like, you've known me for a while. I don't like the early holiday stuff.
It's getting worse, Nick. I mean, I'll tell you right now, Christmas is right around the corner. And you
know, I've seen Christmas in August.
Because I can't be hypocritical because I have to start early because I'm going to be so busy this year with stuff. So I have to start getting some stuff together already.
Oh no! But I'm seeing. Last year I saw Christmas trees in August. Okay, like, can we not infiltrate Christmas to the last third of the year? Like, I'm seeing Halloween in August. I'm seeing Christmas in August. Like, what's next? What's that stupid holiday tradition they do every single year in the summer?
Christmas in July.
Yeah, Christmas in July. Like, it's literally going to become Christmas in July at some point. Like,
but
I don't know. I mean, we'll finish up some tight ends on loose ends. I should tight ends. I'm thinking football already.
I thought that was intentional. Yeah,
I'm thinking football already. Loose ends. We'll finish up some loose ends on the forecast in a second. But you thought he was done. Think again. Zan Bando is back and bigger than ever with Zanzinger Part 2. And this football season, we're expanding the show. Starting with the football season, we're stretching the chaos to a full 1-hour show every Sunday, 10:30 a.m. Eastern Time, 7:30 a.m. Pacific. During the college and NFL season on the Empty the Bench Network, Zan is serving up his unfiltered, rapid-fire hot takes across the entire sports landscape. Plus, at 11 a.m. Eastern, 8 a.m. Pacific, every single show during the football season, feature contributor Will Charlton joins the broadcast to bring his noteworthy perspectives on everything going down in college football. Get your Sunday morning started with double the zingers and the sharpest college football insight. Catch Zanzinger Part 2 every Sunday, 10:30 a.m. Eastern, 7:30 a.m. Pacific, only on the Empty the Bench Network. Make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/ETB Network. So, yes, no more noteworthy in the NCAA because Will's schedule is crazy. He just moved to Nebraska.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I'm happy for him, though. He got a sports director job on TV
awesome.
Down there. So he's working 6 out of 7 days a week like you.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, think about it. When the football season hits, you really are doing. I mean, football itself is a 5-day work week now, going from pretty much like Thursday to Monday.
But he's going to be executive producing and being the talent for the sports stuff.
That's great.
So
awesome stuff for Will.
But just long story short, from the inside, he pulled me aside and said, "I really want to continue to do something." So we are now expanding Zanzinger Part 2 to an hour. He's going to be on for the last half an hour every Zanzinger Part 2. That's going to start, at least with him being on, it'll be the I think it's going to be week 1 of college football season.
Okay.
The extension of Zanziger Part 2 is actually going to start next week. He's going to do an hour this coming Sunday. It'll be 11 to noon just because there's no shows right now for the football season. Then it'll go from 10:30 to 11:30 because with live shows, you need a gap in between. But looking forward to that. All right. Just to finish up the loose ends on this, is there anything we didn't talk about so far for forecast?
Well, I mean, we pretty much got it all. Again, this is going to be, you got the main forecast on Friday. You've got Thursday. You got the football night on the bench on Thursday. And remember also Sunday, Gridiron Gurus, which will still be on. I mean, they've been doing a great job holding down the fort in the offseason, Fridays at 7. That's where
an example of NFL being all year round, right?
Pretty much. And it really has been. If you think about it, baseball used to be that. Football now is that.
Football is you can't, I can live without football in the off season, but there are some people that just can't live without the NFL for the 3-4 months. It's actually less now because of all the extensions now after the season, right?
Mm-hmm.
How long do we wait now because of how they scheduled everything?
Well, I mean, remember Super Bowl mid-February, then you have free agency in March, NFL, then the draft, schedule release.
And then it feels like the season's back again.
Yeah.
So there's really it used to be like, it felt like an eternity between the end of the season and then coming back. Now it doesn't.
And it helps when you have the extra game, the extra week now, the extra game. So 18 weeks.
Some couples are not going to love that too much.
Yeah. Imagine like going to your stores and you're going to have Valentine's Day candy and Super Bowl stuff in the same aisle.
Oh, I'm sure.
A little cross promotion.
I guarantee you couples are going to love that. Hey, honey, what are we doing for Valentine's Day? Watching the Super Bowl?
Yeah.
Sorry, wrong answer. Well, that's going to be an interesting day for some people. But
President's Day, correct me if I'm wrong, President's Day is the next day. And everybody's
people are off.
And people have been asking for the day after the Super Bowl to be a federal national holiday. Well,
I think that's the first time ever that people have had the day off after the Super Bowl, right?
Not me. No, it's okay though.
I knew. I had a feeling you weren't going to be off.
No. I can take go for it. I'm good.
I'll love it. My husband, not so much.
Yeah, that is gonna be quite something to see. Especially what if one of your team's in it? Oh, here's the best part. What if your husband or your wife, what if they're not a football fan and you are a fan of a team that's in the Super Bowl? Or do one better. What if both of you were fans of
competing teams?
Oh, that's going to be awesome.
I'm
sure there'll be videos that are out about that. I'm sure there will be a couple that will have both teams represented in the Super Bowl.
Now I want to see the Cowboys in the Super Bowl to see what happens.
It does seem kind of fateful that the first Super Bowl that ESPN gets and the Cowboys make it when they're kissing their feet left and right. I mean, it would make the most sense.
That all those shows that entire week are going to be.
Sam, book me for work 7 days that week. Okay, thank you. Yes. It'll be fine. We'll get through it. It'll be okay.
Between Greeny and Stephen A. and Pat McAfee,
doing backflips and cartwheels. That's what they'll be doing.
Speaking of Pat McAfee, did you see that album he put out?
Yeah, I did.
That's just I don't care. I have too much power. I can do what I want. You can't stop me. What else was I going to do? Oh, before we got intertwined into all the football stuff, I want to go back. Where is it? There. To talk about the 3,000 watch hour goal stuff.
Oh, yeah.
So do you want to talk a little bit about just seeing stuff from the view before the live stuff?
Well,
a little bit.
I mean, it's definitely changed. I'll say that. I mean, because Nick and I, the running joke with this network, or even just with shows in general, was how the rule of live. How do you phrase it? Like live was a big no back in the day.
Live was like a death sentence, essentially, way back when. Now it's like I call it a hybrid, is what I call it now, where you're doing a produced show, you're just doing it live, so more people can actually tune into it in real time.
Yeah, and I think for football season that's going to be great because NFL is such a trendy thing. Our numbers were great when we started this back in January with the playoffs.
We're actually going to do actual thumbnails this time around, not have the same one.
Those I can't wait to see.
I can see it now. I could see Aaron. I'm going to call it now. You're going to see Aaron Rodgers in 10 out of the 17 titles this year.
Well, I'm already thinking about week 1, and I'll give you a guy if he's named the starter, Deshaun Watson.
Oh yeah, that's a fair point.
Which right now, I mean, it's possible he starts week 1 for the Browns.
I could see a title with Deshaun Watson versus Shedeur Sanders, who starts.
Yeah, that'll be one of the many storylines we follow as the season starts.
But you're going to see some interesting titles this time around. You're no longer that's another change too, which we started to do. The show went live. You're not just going to see NFL Week 1 anymore. That those days are kind of gone. Now you're going to see some whatever's trending kind of in the news, because I think we said we were going to try and do that was another change we talked about, 15 to 20 minutes possibly of a one major topic that's going on if we have time for it. But we'll get back to that. So what do you make from the evolution of this network in a sense, because you saw it when it was record
yeah, when it first started to what it is now. I'm amazed by it. I really am, because I never thought we'd go live. We would have a live thing here. But times change, things change. Look, the amount of talent that's on this network right now helps too with that. So it's a wonderful thing to see. I'm excited. I'm excited for the live bit. I really am. I know we started doing this back in January last season with the playoffs, but I'm excited to do this now year round, for a variety of reasons. Because then what also the thing is too, we get also our viewers and our viewers involved too, because they can interact with us. They can send us questions about or their thoughts about games too. So it gets the viewers involved as well, which we started to do in the playoffs last year. But now we can get them involved during the regular season if they have a question about. Even if they want to have a fantasy question, would they start this versus sit, or if they have a betting question, a prop bet or whatnot. We'll take them all during the show.
Yeah, the live perspective just changed everything. I was sitting and talking with Callan and Nico and Tom. It was all right, full disclosure, we were not gaining watch hours from all the record because it was old news, because sometimes you'd sit on shows, you would record on a Monday, it wouldn't make it out until Wednesday because I needed the extra day turnaround time to put the shows out, and then the news would become stale, or it would be like you, where we would react to something and then it would destroy about 20 minutes of the show. And I was like, all right, we got to do something, because we got to make.
I think the perfect thing would be is let's say the Browns have the Browns quarterback situation. Well, let's say they have a named starter for week 1, and we normally in the past would have a debate. Oh, who should start? And then they name a starter, let's say Saturday afternoon before the show comes out, and then that wastes about 10 minutes right
and
there.
You're just shoot, I kept, and then we have to put the clips that were this took place before this news broke, and you're like, that's like a salty feeling, when you have to write that on a social media post, and you're just like.
And it happened with us a lot. Actually happened with me a lot this year. So, but unfortunately, that's just the reality of the business, and that's one of the many reasons why we went to live. It's just the reality. It's a 24/7 sports cycle, even in the off season, and all the developments that can happen in a length of time.
I would say this time around for you with moving the goalpost was honestly 10,000% better than what happened with Game On.
Yes, totally.
Now, Callan and I say this all the time. We talk about everything in full disclosure, just to show kind of the evolution change, how everything has come. that show had issues with it. It did. And part of it was just how the network was being run at the time. We were not doing things a certain way. Another one was who you were doing the show with, which I try to refrain from at this point. Basically, I think this show is better. Now, does Nick D like to talk a lot? Yes. But I think that this show runs better than that one did.
It did, yes.
So, and you know what?
And Nick D, I promise if you're watching right now or whenever, I promise you, I'm coming back. At some point, I will be back. I'm not trying to avoid you. I'm not taking a vacation. Trust me, I can't buy a vacation right now. I'm lucky if I get a daycation, let alone a vacation. I will be back. Okay.
It's not even a staycation.
No, I was off Saturday. It was like literally my first day in weeks where I literally had like nothing to do. I called it a daycation. I'll take it. But I will be back on MTGP real soon.
And full disclosure, also because we talk about scheduling, like until we hit sponsors and I can say to everybody, hey, here's something for doing shows. Like that's how it's going to be until we get where we need to get. When we have wink, wink, sportsbook sponsor, hopefully, I can then say to people, do this on a part-time basis rather than like having to run around and try to fit it in while you're trying to work, which is a whole, remember, we all got to pay bills in life if we want to continue to do this stuff. So it's all a matter of perspective.
I'm excited for this. I'm excited for this season. So,
and here's the thing: we're going to hit 4,000 watch hours before February 1st.
I absolutely. I mean, if you look at how well our football numbers do, and football in general, because it's such a popular thing and it trends really well. Like we had 1,000. We had almost 2,000 people between both days in the NFL draft for us. I mean, we did 1,000 plus on the night one of the NFL draft. So. I mean,
I think it was 20. I think it was 2,500 total in the 2 days.
And that's one of the things. Like starting the show at 7:00. I know we could have started later, but we're trying to keep it consistent with what Gurus was at 7:00 too, which is one of the many reasons why. But I'll be honest with you, the NFL is such a popular thing that and that's part of like you said about tweeting the stuff, about sharing the stuff too. So even if you don't get that West Coast crowd right at 4 p.m. Pacific. You tweet it out at 10:00 at night, you'll get that 7 p.m. West Coast crowd at night, and that'll help with the views. And that was the thing. Like last year, our numbers during the season were not great, which is one of the reasons we did make these changes. But also, it's because this network is so deep, and we've got so many shows in the works now. As much as I would love to go Octobox or Hollywood Square is on you all this year. We just can't do that, unfortunately.
No, we can't do it. And I think some people might have gotten turned off by trying to figure out 8 people on a screen. Like,
well, I told you, I had a couple of people criticize that, and I'm like, well, listen, I'm going to listen to you, and we'll work on it.
And it doesn't mean those people are going away.
Right, exactly, yeah. And it's not a knock on them. Look, the idea was great in the beginning. It just didn't work. It just didn't work to the way we thought it would work.
And I think at one point it was just like you would say one thing, and then you'd have to wait for 7 other people to say something before you speak again.
And you know what? I felt like maybe some of those guys also, like, let's be honest, some of those people probably felt like they couldn't get a word in or didn't want to say as much as they wanted to say because they knew we were picking a game with a fast track and they wanted to go quick on it. Now that like the main show will have 5 people, we'll have a little bit more time to say stuff.
And like we said, like, so the Thursday, the football night on the bench will kind of be the lead in to Friday also, so you'll get to see some of the like Christy and Grant and Michael and Tom, like even though Tom is on forecast, but you'll get to see those other 3 kind of do a little preview of their own a little bit leading into Friday, like injuries.
Yeah, exactly. And you know what? They'll have more time on that show to say more stuff too. So it's fair to them as well to give them their own time as well, instead of rushing them and saying, "Listen, I need to pick real quick." You can go through give you more time there.
And then also, just because I forgot, at the same time, we have I told you about James Myers, who's going to be doing Forever Power 5 with Zan. His show is also coming over here. Winners Get Money.
Oh yes! Now that's right, because on Sunday itself, not only do we have gurus that will lead you into the afternoon and evening slate on Sunday, but you have a show actually during the games too.
Right. So 3:45 Eastern-ish, so 15 minutes or so like before that window turns over. James and Nick D are going to get you ready for the second window, bringing you props and bets and stuff. And it'll probably go like an hour to an hour and a half-ish or so. And then Lounge will come. And this is what's interesting. So this will go until about like 5 o'clock, 3:45 to like 5 o'clock to get you through the beginning of the window. And then Lounge is going to come at 9 o'clock during Sunday Night Football.
Wow. So I can have you guys on while, especially his first Sunday night game, is Cowboys Giants. So that'll be epic. Yeah.
So we have you covered for football Sunday. As Christy says, I'm excited for football night on the bench. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. So it goes from what was maybe like a 5 to 10 minute preview now to a full hour. Yes. One of the reasons why I chose Grant, Michael, and Christy together was I think those three together will work very, very well. So
and
Grant
Tom,
and Mike did the Thursday night game. Did the Thursday night game last year, so we figured keep those two together, and I think Christy will be a great addition. So that's why we put her there.
And also, it just goes along with the live format of everything we're doing. Because Grant and Michael were originally doing a 3 to 5 minute video kind of reviewing it. And I said, well, why don't we just make it an hour-long stream to do fantasy? Like, Tom came up with a good idea that, like, we'll have, like, our updates to our fantasy league through that series on Thursday, because that's kind of like the beginning of the week, kind of.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, the NFL week is a 5-day. It's like a 5-day work week. It's Thursday through Monday. Now, week one obviously will be Wednesday through Monday, so it'll be a 6-day week in week one. But it just provides another avenue for everybody. So it's great.
So yeah, we have a lot of football stuff coming up. I mean, but I keep detracting from the topic here. But what else? Or what do you remember from the early days? Let me ask you that.
Well, I remember when we first started this, it was just two people, and we were just going back and forth together on making picks. Really nothing. Not a lot of substance originally. And, we didn't do locks, obviously, because that was something you guys did on Empty the Bench and your.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
That was something we did, and we brought that over to Friday and Forecast. So I just remember from where it started, and it has just been building up year after year. And I think it's only been getting better year after year. And I'm really excited for this one because there's so many different elements. The thing I'm really excited for the most, besides the live bit, even just from the show's perspective, is the lock angle. I really think now we're going to see a lot of strategy this year with the lock.
I hope so.
Yeah, well, I mean, and kudos to you, because you know what? You know this. I wasn't sold on that idea at first, but I thought about it more and more, and I'm like, all right, Nick, you won me over on it. Let's do it.
I just wanted a change up a little bit.
Yeah, it is. I mean, you know what? Like you said, now there's more strategy. And remember, because the scoring is different this year with locks, so that's another element to this. You don't want to lose 2 points, especially when we're basing this competition on points. So yeah, I'm excited for it. I'm excited for everybody, and I'm really excited also for everybody to interact with us too, because that is a new feature, and one of the many perks about the show going live this year is we do get some reactions. And football is a very popular thing. So I think we're going to get a lot of reactions during the show. So we will definitely read your comments as long as they're clean and stuff. We will definitely read them. If you have any questions during the season about fantasy, if you have a prop bet that you have a question about, we will try and help you out with that. So that's what we're here for. And really, most importantly with this, have fun.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes it could be serious at times. That's not the goal. What's the thing I say all the time? We're not NFL Live. We're not there to give you X's and O's.
I'm no Laura Rutledge or Dan Orlovsky.
Yeah, if you want X's and O's, go watch NFL Live or Fantasy Football Now, which is another thing ESPN has. Or that's not our goal. Like, we're gonna say crazy, stupid things from Johnny knows I've probably said more dumb things on this show than that have gone like viral, even though I can say for the last 2 years, I was right about the Bengals.
Yes. Now, does that continue into this year? I guess we'll find out. Don't give it too far away. I already have I was thinking about this already. Like I already have some takes that I'm not afraid to put out there for the season. I don't know if you want me to give them away now or.
I will say though that I already saw an over under for 11.5, and I think that's crazy.
What, on the Bengals?
Yeah.
11.5?
Yeah.
No way. Look, I think the Bengals can win the division, but they're not winning it with 12 wins.
I mean, I'll look that up again, but I saw it on a sports book.
Boy, there are a few unders that I do like already, and that would be one.
All right, let's see. So there's
my Giants are 7.5, which is very close. But
okay, so they're saying between 9.5 and 10.5.
Okay, that's a little bit more realistic. And 10 wins might get them the AFC North.
So they're saying the over 9.5 in most markets is minus 155, and the 10.5 wins under priced at minus 140. So they're basically telling you they think they're going to win 10 games because they're saying to take the over 9.5 and the under 10.5.
Well, see, that's a little bit better. I mean, I don't think the Bengals are going to win 12 games this year. I mean,
I don't think they're, even though I saw that their schedule is somewhat easier, I still don't buy that offensive line. Do you see Joe Burrow got attacked the other night?
Look, the one thing I will say with them is, I guess you give a little bit of a preview here, a forecast how we're going to do this. I think this is their last chance with this group, the way it's constructed.
Agreed.
This is their last year to get it done, because I think if they don't get it done, I think Zach Taylor's gone, and I think you might see that team get blown up.
I think Taylor should have been gone after last season.
I was surprised he came back. I really would. But I think they're going to go for it, and maybe it was smart too, because, I mean, that whole division, I mean, the Browns are the Browns. The Steelers are, I mean, they're another year older. I know they brought in Mike McCarthy as the head coach, but they're another year older.
With Aaron Rodgers, too.
And the Ravens, I don't know about Jesse Minter as the new head coach.
Well,
Lamar's another year older, so.
It's funny you say that because I'm looking at BetMGM. Now, just full disclosure, during the season, we use DraftKings. I just like to look at other books.
Sure.
But according to the BetMGM book, this is crazy. They have the Ravens at 11.5 wins.
Now, last year, if you remember during the AFC preview and forecast last year, I said I was high. I was all in on the Ravens. I was high on them, and they killed me last year. So I don't know. I mean,
that's a lot. With a new
Lamar's another year older. I mean, think about this though. You know, I don't ever like to look at the NFL's top 100 list that they do every year.
I hate that list.
But did you see Lamar Jackson fell like 67 spots in the past year?
So my question to you is, because I don't know 100%. I think that's a players voted list.
It is a players voted list. You're right.
So here's what I need to understand what the interpretation of the list is. Is it based off playoff victories? Is it based off because he's won 2 MVPs? What is it based off of?
Well, I don't know exactly what it's based off of. And look, we documented a lot last year. He was playing Lamar Jackson was your true example.
He's playing hurt.
The amount of injuries that he had last year that we documented on the show last year was incredible.
What did I keep saying? I think last year I said if he can't use his legs, they're not going to be able to win as many games. That's his bread and butter, using his legs.
That defense also was so bad last year for the Ravens.
My God.
How many? I mean, geez.
That division was tough defensively.
I tell you, though, and that's the thing I'm excited for this year, because that AFC North, you can make the case for 3 out of the 4 teams. The NFC North, you can make the case all 4 of those teams in the NFC North could win the division. You've got 2 in the West. Let's see, 2 in the West. The East, I mean, you could make the case for all 4. I don't see it that way, but you could make the case for all 4. What else are we looking at here? AFC East is 2. AFC South, I would say maybe 3. And then the West, you know, you've got Pat Mahomes coming back. I can't believe how fast Mahomes is recovering from that injury. He's really super. He's really Superman.
Crazy.
So, that's why I can't wait for this year. I mean, it really. The North though is the division for me to watch. The NFC North, because I think all 4 of those teams have a legitimate case. I mean, you got a guy that has and I said this. You've got a player in Kyler Murray that's going to be playing for a huge contract. He's going to be motivated as ever for him to have a big year. That's why I really think the Vikings have a chance. I think that was a great spot for him to go to. I think he's going to have a huge year there for the Vikings.
Yeah, I'm trying to find.
And one word we used a lot last year: loose. Get ready for me to say that a lot regarding the Chicago Bears this year. I think Ben Johnson saying that he wants to put up historical numbers offensively. I think you're going to have to.
So you were asked about the Vikings. So this is DraftKings now. I found all the teams over-unders.
Yep.
The Vikings are over-under 8.5.
I like the over.
As long as they're healthy.
That's true. I mean, and Kyler, if he plays the full year, he's injury prone too. So, but think again, he's only 29 years old, Nick. If he goes out there and has a banner year, some team will give him a huge contract. There's going to be two quarterbacks besides all the quarterbacks coming out of the draft next year. There's going to be 2 quarterbacks that are going to be making some big money possibly next offseason. Kyler Murray and Baker Mayfield.
I mean, Tampa better get him signed. Like,
I don't think he's going to sign. The Bucks. I think Baker.
He has been wonders for them. Why wouldn't you sign him?
Well, can he now do it without his best receiver though this year?
Yeah, but that's not his fault.
No, it's not his fault. But when Mike Evans when he missed games last year, that team was not the same team last year.
True. Now
I tell you, who I like it out of the South?
Who?
The NFC South. I like the Saints.
Who would have thought you'd hear that, right?
From where we were last year to now, I like the Saints out of the South a lot. I look out for them this year. I mean, maybe that's not saying much because that division's still kind of still a crapshoot. But as I steal Nick Morgasen word there, but
yes,
watch for that. Watch for the Saints in the South. I think they absolutely can do it.
All right, we'll do some quick over/under since I'm looking at it, and then we'll
let's do a little preview here of what forecast is going to be like this year.
So, DraftKings also has Cincinnati over/under 10.5. I don't see them winning 11 games.
No, I mean, Dexter Lawrence improves that defense. He's looked good so far. The line is still a concern, though.
And then
slight under.
Yeah, I would say 9, maybe 10, maybe. I don't know.
Giants still 7.5.
Well, let's go through it. So I pulled up the Bears since we have some fascinating Bears fans here. Over under 9.5. I think that's high.
Man. See, that division has the most impactful player waiting to come back in Micah Parsons. Depending on when he comes back, that possibly shapes up the whole division. I don't like the Lions this year because, again, another change of coordinators for them. I think that's a big deal. I mean, that division might come down to injuries, really.
Yeah, I mean, so what do you think of the number? I think it's high.
I would say right now, I would lean to the over, but then again, if I like the Vikings in that division, I have to go under then.
Yeah, because especially with them playing twice, right? So, all right, who did you ask for? You asked for the Giants.
The Giants number was 7.5. Has that changed at all?
Let's see. Nope, it's 7.5.
Okay. Yeah. Here's the thing I'll say. I'm a Giants fan. We're going to be better. We're not there yet. Year 2 of Harbaugh is when the team gets over the hump.
I'm just looking at their schedule.
Schedule's torturous, Nick. I mean, let's be honest. I mean, they got to play the
Cowboys obviously at home week 1.
First off, the division, they never do well in division.
They never win that game, ever.
Yeah, that's why I would always make that a lock, but I can't lock it this year. I can't lock it in week 1.
And then on the road to the Rams on Monday Night Football following it.
So they play the NFC West, which has 3 pretty good teams. And, the Cardinals, which could be very sneaky. which they struggle with them. They got to play, obviously, our own division. The AFC South has 2, maybe 3 legitimate teams in that division. And then the extra games they play are the Lions, the Browns, and the Saints.
By the way, I think you guys also got screwed by the early bye week also in week 8. Because that's early for...
Yeah. I just don't think we're there yet. I think it takes till week 2, until Harbaugh's second year. The problem's going to be is the media is going to go nuts because they're going to expect year 1 instant results. I think they'll play better this year. I just don't think we're there yet.
I mean, so from weeks 3 to week 6, I think you could potentially win all those games. Tennessee, Arizona, Washington, and New Orleans. I think you could potentially win all those games.
That game against the Saints as well. It doesn't matter where they play because they don't beat the Saints at home or on the road.
But I think it's all potential to win. Then they have Houston on the road, bye week at Philadelphia. Now, I don't think Philadelphia is as great as everyone is saying.
I think here's the biggest problem with the Eagles this year is it's another year for Jalen Hurts with a new OC. How many quarterbacks can play with as many OC changes as he's had? There's only one that I could think of.
It makes me wonder if it's a quarterback problem at that point. Because if you have to keep replacing the coordinator, because obviously you paid him already, so you're not going to replace him. If you have to keep replacing the coordinator, that means there has to be a problem internally.
That's why it pains me is to say this. I think the Cowboys are going to win the NFC East this year.
Imagine if that happens. The Eagles are over under 10.5, by the way.
I mean, they could get to 11. I mean, the receiver core is still pretty. I mean, it's still a really good team, but
no AJ anymore. No,
I don't think that really makes much of a difference because the drama. I mean, he wasn't the drama they had with him, and that's always the thing with the Eagles. It's always so much drama.
Just looking through the rest of their schedule quickly.
Yeah.
Washington and Jacksonville at home. Indianapolis on the road.
Home Daniel Jones revenge game in Indy.
Oh, wow. I didn't even see that.
Yep. He should be back by then, you would think.
Right. I would say so. Then home for San Francisco. I don't think they're going to be able to field a whole team, the Niners, at this point.
That's just crazy. I mean, that team is – I mean, I know the Giants always deal with a ton of injuries. That team's always banged up, man. It's unbelievable all they've got.
But they have San Francisco at home, Seattle on the road.
They won't beat Seattle.
They're not beating Seattle. But then they have Cleveland
years ago, but that's not the Seattle team of now.
But then they have Cleveland at home, so I mean,
should be a win. That should do it. But you know what though? We talk about this now. What's always the thing we talk about with the NFL is timing and all this too. Is when they play these teams too. Could you get the team when they're down in the dumps or dealing with major injuries? So we'll see. But I'm excited to talk about all this in the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, I mean, and then just they have Detroit and Dallas. Who knows if those games are even going to matter at that point?
Yeah,
that's annoying. Like when they say, "Oh, does the game matter?" And then you have the flex game, obviously week 18, which is usually all divisional in the last week.
Yeah,
I think those games are dumb, by the way, in my opinion, because most of those divisional games don't matter because the season's already determined.
We've seen that. Very few games in week 18 really have any major implications.
But what was I going to say? Oh, I keep seeing Scott Hansen's tweets, by the way, as he keeps saying, "What are we at?
Down
4 Sundays."
4 Sundays.
I got to turn my Red Zone back on, actually, because word of advice to people who have Red Zone, turn it off once the season ends so you don't pay for it.
Yeah, good point.
Because otherwise you'll be paying a lot of money for football you can't even watch yet.
Yeah.
Did you want to say anything just about the international games quickly? Because it's a wild international stretch.
Starts week 3 on CBS with the Ravens and Cowboys, but yeah, a lot of early morning games this year.
I mean, and then you have how many different places are we going this year? Australia,
10.
Germany, Spain, London,
Rio, Brazil, Paris.
See, if I was a season ticket holder, I'd sue the NFL.
Yeah,
I would. It's not fair to the season ticket holder.
Oh, I remember Giants played the.
Who were they playing? I think in Spain, right?
Well, they were playing the. They were playing the Panthers in Munich, and I say in Germany a few years ago, and I was supposed to go to that game.
Oh, really? Oh, you mean if it was here?
Because it was in Carolina, and then he got moved to Germany.
See, that's got to be irritating, like big time. You're just like, I'm looking forward to seeing my team. How often do they come here?
Yeah, and that was the thing. They're playing the Titans this year. I thought the game would be nice, but that game's not in Nashville. It's at MetLife.
Oh man, but
All right.
That'll do it for the show. We were off last week due to some scheduling stuff. Excuse me. The plan is Give and Takes will be moving from Monday to Tuesday because that's a tough spot to be on during Monday Night Football. You don't want to compete against it. But I think we're going to do an earlier show. Callan and I are going to continue doing Dungeon on Monday to kind of let people in. It's kind of like the insider, like at Barstool, they had something called like Inside Barstool, where you would hear all the inner workings of what goes on at the network. That's kind of what we're doing here. So just make sure you check everything out that we're doing. Follow the network at ETB Network on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at ETB Network. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/ETB Network. We defeated goal number 1 with 3,000 watch hours.
Now on to 4 and beyond.
On to 4,000 and beyond, so we can get actual YouTube monetization going here. Also coming up at 7 p.m. Eastern time tonight, 4 p.m. Pacific, Fight IQ. Tom Montalbano is back to talk about UFC 330, reacting to UFC 330. So make sure you check all that out at 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific. He will be back. Any last words you would like to say, Johnny, before we bid adieu?
Well, number one, thank you for having me on today to preview the football season. And number two, enjoy these next couple of weeks, folks, because once we hit August 31st, really August 30th, but really the 31st, it is go time, baby. And I'm excited, and it is going to be an amazing year ahead. So,
yeah. So thank you to everybody. 210 people watching
you all.
live.
Yep.
The numbers have been great ever since we hit 3,000, and before that, just the numbers have been much better on a live perspective. So that's why the changes were really made.
Yes.
But for Johnny Montalbano, I'm Nick Morgasen. I see the trumpets in the distance. They're marching in with the flags on it. So I think it's time to end the content dungeon. But until then, Callan and I should hopefully be back next week on Monday. We'll let you know. But until then, I see the trumpets. It's time to say goodbye. Have a good week, everybody.
We'll see ya.